Hi everyone, welcome to my sewing YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to go over a list of items that you can get your sewing enthusiast friend or family member for this Christmas. We are getting pretty close to Christmas at this point. I think we're 10 days out from Christmas Eve. So these are items that I think they should be able to arrive from Wawak, which is an online sewing supply store, in time, but definitely check your address with this because I don't know, it might be kind of close. Or you can go to Michael's. A lot of the items should be at Michael's. Not every single item on this list, but the smaller ones I think should be. So with that said, let's get right into the list. Number one is a loop turner. These come in really handy when you are trying to make straps for clothing or any other item you're looking to have some sort of long strap or string item, maybe ties. This is great to be able to slip through that strap tube, grab the end of the fabric, and then pull it through so it has all of the nice clean finishes. You can find these at Wawak for $3.89. Number two, this is also in the strap and tie category, but this is another tool that I think is really great to use for turning those fabric pieces inside out. And this is a tongue twister, but it is the fabric tube turners. Or the quick turn fabric tube turners. These are 3 different sizes here where you could have different size straps, be able to turn them, but you're putting it over the tube and pushing it through with these rods. Let's see if I can get one out. So this is one of the bigger sizes here. And this is probably the fastest tool that I've ever used for making straps. I think it's a really great addition for people that are sewing maybe a lot of summer dresses that have spaghetti straps, tops, or even if you're making some sort of crafty projects that require a lot of like ties. So this is number 2. Number 3 is tailor's chalk. If you are someone that's looking to get into more alterations, kind of adjusting clothes, getting a better fit, or even just jotting down all of your notions from paper patterns onto the fabric, I think tailor's chalk is a really great option to gift your sewing friends. This is a larger box from Wawak and it comes in just under $10, but you get a really large selection of wax chalk that can be steamed off of clothes. So all of these lines will disappear and you get this nice, crisp edges here on the tailor's chalk. Love that. Number 4 is snippers. These are super great to get that really close finish with snipping off the threads and not having them kind of lay longer or nip them with a larger scissor if you're trying to just get the threads at the end of your sewing. So I think this is a great little gift that you can get your sewing friend that may just have a bunch of scissors, but I think this makes such a big difference when it comes to finishing your projects. These Fisker ones are about a little over $10 at Michael's stores, but you can definitely find cheaper ones at wawak.com. I think around $3 or so. Number 5 is a rotary cutter. This is from Fisker's, and I think this one is around $16. These are really handy when it comes to cutting around curved edges on fabric. And generally when I'm cutting out a new project, I love to have it nearby just in case there's something kind of wonky with the pattern, something kind of a little bit difficult to get around with maybe just a normal pair of fabric scissors. I love to have this extra little tool to get through those interesting bits and pieces on a pattern. So I think this is a great Christmas gift to make the cutting out of the fabric portion of the sewing process much easier. Number 6 is a good pair of fabric scissors. Maybe you know someone that's new to sewing and has just been using the general old pair of scissors they have laying around. But when it comes to cutting fabric, it's really important that you have a specific pair of scissors just for fabric. So I kind of follow what my mom does here. I grew up and there were certain scissors we were not allowed to touch as children, and those were the ones that had the piece of kind of fabric hanging off of it. So we knew that these were the scissors only for fabric. That really helps get that nice, clean, crisp cut. This specific set of scissors goes for a little over $24. But I've also been seeing a lot of ads for Ginger scissors. I personally have not used them, but those I think are closer to $28. So maybe do a little extra research if you'd like. But generally, I've been very happy with my Fiskars. And anyone else watching that has a favorite pair of fabric scissors, please comment below. I'm really interested to see what everyone else uses or recommends. Okay, I think we're at number 7. A cutting mat. This is what's going to pair perfectly with your rotary cutter gift. This is what you need under the rotary cutter when you're cutting through and putting that pressure to cut that fabric. You need to have a mat or one of those self-healing mats, so you're not cutting into your table, cutting into your floor, wherever you're cutting your projects. It is very crucial to have a good, solid mat. So this one I have from Fiskars. I got it on sale at Joann's. I think it was like $35. I think Michael's is selling it for $70, unfortunately. This one is a 24 by 36 size. If you're doing larger projects, I definitely recommend a big size, or even bigger than this one. I'd love to have a whole table that's just covered with a mat. That's the dream, but this is the biggest size that I have at the moment. And I did do more research and saw that there was another company that had cutting mats, self-healing cutting mats for, I think, around $55, the same exact size, and that was from Dale Advantage. That might be a better price point, and I think those ones tend to be a little bit thicker. I believe my mom has one. I'm not sure if that's the exact same company, but generally that should still serve the same purpose as just a nice general cutting mat that you can use to pair with those rotary scissors. Number 8. Now, this is the trifecta. If you're really looking to get a nice big gift with a couple things for someone that loves to sew, you have the rotary cutter, the mat, and then with that, you could always add a projector. Now, there's plenty of projectors on the market, some that are very specific for sewing, but I'll just talk about the one that I have, which is the Magic Cube. Now, this Magic Cube I got off of TikTok Shop, and I did end up, after using this quite a few times, I did end up getting the tripod that is also meant to be with it. This Magic Cube I think was around $50. Tripod I think was only $3, so that was on sale, but it's meant specifically to screw this in. Now, why do you need a projector for sewing? That is for digital patterns. There are so many great independent designers now that are releasing digital patterns to be printed out as a PDF. Now, most people do print them out and you cut them, and you'll soon realize, or your sewing friend may soon realize, that that takes a long amount of time to paste the pattern pieces together, to cut them all out. And something that the projector does, once you get it calibrated with, I use a specific website, which I'm also going to share right here because I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Once you calibrate the projector to your mat, so it's very crucial that you have a cutting mat that is all squared out in inches, then you can display your projector pattern pieces onto your mat and you can begin cutting through your fabric. I've done this for quite a few projects and it is so unbelievably easy that I think this would be a really cool present for someone that is maybe a little bit more familiar with sewing, maybe more the intermediate level, because you definitely need to figure out how you're going to plan putting the pattern pieces around, and it might be a little bit harder to see some of the details in terms of notches and all of that. So there's a couple little caveats with using it, but overall it's a really fun process once you figure it out on how to use the projector. I think all of these three things are a really great option to help if you purchase these digital patterns on Etsy, for example, and are looking to kind of get away from all of that printing and pasting, or the printing, the taping, and the cutting. So this offers a really cool, different approach. But this will also lead into number 9. Number 9 is sewing patterns. I think this would be a really fun gift for someone who's looking to make their own clothes. Either they've been making their clothes for a while and they're looking for some more rare patterns here, or if they are learning to sew, there's still plenty of great beginner patterns that offer a lot of instruction, or there's even matching YouTube videos to help people through the process. The key is to make sure that you're getting the pattern in their sewing pattern size. Now this varies greatly from the US sizing for clothing. So you definitely want to look at the measurements of the person that maybe you're getting the gifts for, or some patterns do come in extra small, small, medium, large, all of the sizes above. So that might be an easier option when it comes to if you're getting a coat pattern. They tend to come in those more general sizing rather than these specific sewing pattern size numbers that can get a little confusing. But a great place to find them. I will have to give a little shout out for my store, which is Sewing Patterns To Go on Etsy and eBay. You can find them on those platforms. I also do sell on Whatnot occasionally for some live shows. A great place to get sewing patterns is also simplicity.com. That's where you can get all of the new patterns, so you know that they're not cut into already. And they will generally have all of the newest ones that are coming out. But if you're looking for something vintage, that's where I would suggest Etsy, eBay, or even Facebook Marketplace. Number 10 is something that's actually on my own wish list for this Christmas, and that is a gravity-fed steam iron. I found one that seemed relatively affordable for what it actually is, and I did ask for it. I do not have it yet, but I have used other people's gravity-fed steam irons and they work beautifully. I am a seamstress and I work in a dry cleaner's shop, so we're using the super huge heavy duty steamers irons, and the gravity-fed one that I used elsewhere really was pretty much on par with that really huge industrial one. So I'm hoping that I do get that for Christmas this year. And that's why I also figured it would be a fun one to add to the list. Those steam irons are a wonderful way to get a super professional look on any sewist's garments. And that concludes the gift guide for sewing presents for Christmas / the holidays. If you have any questions, or if anyone has any other suggestions of some items or different brands of these items that they really love to use, I'd love to hear that in the comments. So please message that below, and have a great holiday season.